Welcome to Taking Murex to the Cloud. And I would like to introduce our guest for this video. It's going to be Zikria, our Global Head of Murex Practice, as well as Alex Schmajke, Head of Murex Practice at GFT, and also Ola Ziemba, the Senior Murex Consultant. Hello.
Hi guys. Hello.
I would like to take a step back and first ask you, Aftab, how you think, why now? Why is it the time for business, for market, taking Murex to the cloud?
It's an interesting time in the marketplace. Right now, there's a big strive for cost effectiveness, agility and innovation. The marketplace, the landscape is changing, and investment banks are looking for a new way of working, innovation, building solutions which are cost effective and driving. And I think the key challenge is that the journey to cloud is a difficult one right now because the landscape is quite complicated, and where we need to move to, there's not a clear direction. So what we're doing is building a roadmap, a way for our clients to look at how to achieve this, build this into Murex, improve some of the offerings into the Murex delivery. What do you think, Alex?
It's a huge challenge for clients, especially from integration aspect. There are many interfaces that usually are used by clients with Murex and other systems, so all this needs to work with the cloud and outside the cloud. Same thing with testing. It's a huge challenge to test all the functionalities, business and technical ones, to find a successful implementation path.
But I think the challenge is that clients are needing help from key players in the marketplace supporting Murex. Murex built a good offering on AWS and Azure migrations to the cloud. This journey is quite a good roadmap, and it's a strong offering. We have a number of clients moving to the cloud, and I think we need, clients are feeling there's a gap of detailed knowledge. This journey is a complicated one because it's not only the focus on Murex, it's a focus on other aspects of technology. So, Ola, what have you've been involved in some strategic projects of migrating to cloud. So what are your opinions on this?
I can admit that I've already been working in cloud environment, and from a QA perspective, it's a very interesting case actually for discussion. So first of all, if we start looking into cost effectiveness, for sure, when you are testing, you can manipulate of each box which can be turned on or turned off. So if, for example, we are going to test some batches, because for sure performance is very important for each bank, for each company. So we can just turn on these services, which will be focused on testing on batches. We can turn on, for example, I'm not sure if I just point all of these boxes, but we've got core, we've got EOD, we've got TDS, we've got XML, for example. So latest time I spent on testing TDS. So we had lots of teams which been testing different part of Murex, but when we had dedicated environment, we just turning on this one environment, TDS. So you can observe this cost effectiveness. So it's a very good and very interesting area, and so
super. Thank you, Ola, for your delightful input. And I also would like to ask the Alexander, so can you tell us more what we're right now doing in GFT regarding the Murex, what you are currently working on?
We're preparing, well, two things actually. One is a training program that is aimed to upskill consultants or to be consultants for our clients. The program is modular and will enable clients to upskill juniors or medium-level experienced staff into market and company-capable teams. The other thing we're doing is we're preparing for our clients offerings that allow them to track a roadmap of migrations and implementations, Murex improvements, transferring Murex to the cloud, and taking apart complicated mechanisms of conversion and migration.
Sounds interesting, because as we all know right now, the market are needed with the new skills, right? Not only cloud skills, but as well with the Murex. So I think the idea of preparing the already team built with both of the skills have huge value and impact for the market, right? What do you think about it, Aftap?
Yeah, I think, look, the challenges are, it's almost a cliche. We want to move to the cloud. We want to achieve a cost effectiveness, build this thing, build this optimized configuration. But these challenges are difficult to manifest. And I think the question is that everyone wants to go to the cloud. It's a slogan now.
Yeah.
But we are GFT looking at making this slogan into reality. And that perspective requires looking at what is the offering, how to do it, and why do it now. So we're putting that in perspective. And I think the challenge we've got is clients, everyone's interested in moving to the cloud. It's a strategic move. It's a way of working that everyone wants to adopt. But to manifest that is a challenge. So what we've done is we've broken that down into areas of, there's a journey. And I think one of the aspects we've done in one of our clients is we've split that journey into a 4-phased approach. Phase 1 will be looking at bringing one dev environment to the cloud, doing a proof of value, delivering a viable solution that we can roadmap into delivery. So that's phase 1. Phase 2 would be moving the remaining dev environments to the cloud, so that the client can benefit from multi-environment, multi-processing, real-time refreshes from production, ability to test that directly. Then phase 3 will be looking at moving the reporting environment to the cloud. This is the most strategic benefit to our clients, where we can have a live production workload on the cloud, running a full data set. We don't face all the integration challenges because this will be just batch reporting, etc. But then the final stage, which is the big one, is moving production data set to the cloud. And this is where it gets pretty complicated, because it requires the full workload to the cloud, full integration in terms of market data, up and downstream interfaces. And if you ask Alex, this is the big challenge, looking at integrating across the whole bank, because you may have some workloads on premise, some workloads on the cloud. Multi-configurations can be pretty complex. But we at GFT, we break down problems, assess in our agile way of working, we assess the problem, break it down, and deliver a solution. But I think integration is a challenge, I think, Alex.
It's complex, but it doesn't need to be difficult. If you apply the right leverage and the right skilled people, complex things become simple. That's what we try to deliver to our clients, simplify difficult and complex things into steps that you can follow and immediately measure if you're successful with them.
But on the integration side, what are your, if you're looking at projects that you've done in the past, what are the challenges, connectivity between, you've got a new network on the cloud and you've got a local configuration, managing those workloads together? What in your mind are your worries there?
It's not as bad as it sounds, because Murex on the integration side is very flexible, and it's a matter of putting the right connectors to it, and everything just flows in. There's a challenge with SSL, because if you're moving one system into the cloud, you need to have SSL connectivity to it and from it. So all the systems that are connecting outside of premise need to have secure connections, so that can be challenging. But the connectivity itself, not so bad as it sounds. There's a challenge with interfaces, because if the version of the Murex with the client is old, there can be changes in the data model. So the natural testing and integration part of the upgrade needs to be also performed usually.
But I think, Ola, I think these are one of the benefits of the cloud when you've got a uniform way of working, there's a standardized approach. On-premise, we traditionally have many solutions that we're trying to put together. But on the cloud, for example, the AWS solution, it becomes quite uniform. There's a number of standards in place. It makes the way of working much simpler. What do you think in your experience?
So actually everything depends on communication between of systems, yeah. Because if we will be talking only about sending, for example, files, yeah. So we need to just to make sure that the channel is safety, yeah. But actually, from testing perspective, not changed a lot, yeah. Only you need to actually identify risk, need to know what is changed, focus on what is expected, talk to people who build it, and later you just need to actually plan testing and so on. So everything is flexible. Everything depends on people and their experience. So what Alex said, if you've got good professional, not changed much, yeah. So,
but I think, Ola, the challenge is on-premise, making that DevOps seamless integration. A lot of clients have made that happen on-premise. They've done it pretty well. You know, they've done a good solution, and we've worked on many projects, Alex, yourself, myself, and we make things happen. There's Reformix, there's other Express tools, there's other parts of to streamline these developments. But the whole journey to cloud, I think the standardization there and adopting the holistic view, it makes it much faster.
Definitely. Breaking big things into manageable bits that can be delivered by, well, in an agile way, quickly with a small team and measurably is key, because this way you can, with this approach, you can have measured steps and you can see that you're actually making progress.
Okay, sounds good. And in terms of total cost of ownership, I think the key areas I think in my head are total cost of ownership, the benefits of moving to the cloud, total cost of ownership, the agility, the standardizations, the performance power, because risk management, regulatory requirements are pushing pretty hard, pushing Murex to deliver more and more. We've got increased volumes, trade volumes are going up, requirements from the business are quite, fluid, and putting all this together, it's a challenge on premise. Now, on premise, we've been running for mostly 20 years. Clients have been running a mature configuration, and they're upgrading from, some clients have gone from 2.10 right through to 3.1, and they're still upgrading. So the journey's strong, and I think generally most Murex clients are pretty responsible. But I think moving to the cloud gets them to the next level of optimum configuration, because that challenge, the rigidness of starting trading and the batch is overrun, the typical problems a business face. If you spoke to a business manager, I think the conversation would probably be, look, how could you make my batch run faster, more reliable? Sometimes the feeder processes can need rerunning and things overrun. Those are the challenges I think we can nail down in the cloud, because the processing power is limited on premise. We've only got so much hardware. So if we can have that versatility of the ownership, the agility, the flexibility of running the batch on an exclusive environment, giving extra processing power, not impacting the core trading platform, maybe faster restarts. We always struggle giving more cache memory to parts of the system. Putting all those two together, I think, it seems like the paradise of Murex, but it's still a challenge, don't you think?
It does seem like a no-brainer. And another interesting aspect is that you can load balance basically everything. So with Murex, you can't go over the architecture that you have. If you have 60 servers for production environment, you can't assign 40 to a technical layer or a process. And with cloud, you can design it without a limit, right? So you can have one small process running a certain business layer that doesn't consume a lot of resources, and something heavy can have designated processing power of 100 CPUs for 2 hours, for instance, for as long as it runs. And the client will have to pay only for the amount of processing power they actually use, not from the infrastructure. And with interfaces, in Murex workflows, you can actually load balance a service technically into a different server in the cloud and scale it as much as you want. So we have, if you have an old system that has gone through many projects and many improvements, you may arrive at complicated code that's not very effective or not very up-to-date, which takes more time to process. So the natural solution is to scale hardware to take up the task, right? So you can ease off the system by improving code or moving to the cloud simply, or doing both at the same time. But then again, that's an integration challenge.
But are we saying cloud is the only option for our clients at this stage? Are we saying that they run out of, has a road run out on premise, that the cloud journey is starting? Or there's still, I think, there's still a bit of road to go on premise, but is it running out very quickly? And I think, is it the challenge that we're facing that, you know, if we don't move to the cloud now, other vendors may move to the cloud, and the challenge is that versatility of advanced configurations, we won't benefit. Is that the challenge, or we should? Well, some clients are thinking, look, are we ready to move to the cloud now? Maybe we should wait, or you know.
Yeah, you can wait, but if you're using advanced technology to do banking, trading, and get leverage in the market, very competitive market, and other banks are already doing it, and they have much more efficiency in running batches, delivering risk results, generating P&L. If they can have it in half an hour and you're having it at 2 hours, you're losing probably money. So it becomes a matter of competitiveness. So the faster you're able to do a move like that, the better for you, basically, because you cut costs.
I think this is a very important case, this time and speed up each of instance in Murex, because we still should remember about traders who are opening trade queries, booking trades. They are opening portfolio simulations and so on. I was starting working with Murex long time ago. I remember instance MX2.11, for example. Later we moved to MX3. And latest client, I was working on cloud environment. So I observed how this system been changing. So for sure, traders should be happier that they can open a system in a few seconds, not waiting, for example, 1 hour. Or it's been 10 years ago. Someone was coming into office, starting a system, going for coffee, or asking someone to turn on Murex. So this speed up of system is very important, and of course this is money as well.
Sounds so interesting that you mention it, because as we all know, when it comes to upgrading the Murex, it's a high cost. So my question is, because here at GFT we know how to build the cloud. We can help our clients to do that, and we do it in a good way. And the question is how it comes to this high cost, the multi-million cost that the client need to pay, and how we can help our client and make this more efficient. How you think of that? How
I think, if we go to two halves, one on the day-to-day process, we touched on, system availability, performance processing. That's the day-to-day problems we face on business as usual. So trading team will say, look, as Ola said, is that we want our system to be responsive and working well. So those are the challenges day-to-day face. But as you quite rightly pointed out, the challenges faced on maintaining Murex, getting latest version, incorporating new functionality and features in the system, it's always been a challenge. So we can streamline that process in the automation. So the cloud is designed for automation. Now, I'm not saying on-premise we can't achieve that automation, but automation is limited, and there's two sides of the coin. We can adopt standards on premise, but the cloud, by its de facto nature, allows those standards to be maintained. So there's always a challenge that you incorporate some standards and some baselines in your on-premise configuration, but then they're not maintained, or you struggle there. But the very nature of cloud code as using Terraform code, automation, that ensures all the logic is stored and we can police the automation. So going back to your question about the migrations, this is a heavy cost. And I think we at GFT are looking at how to streamline that process, capture the workload, see where we can do automations, and deliver that into a solution of cost-effective upgrades. And we're working with Murex on the pipeline process. And I think that's a big problem. So I think, what have you faced, Alex, in previous upgrades? It's a challenge.
Well, it is a challenge, but it scales with how much you're changing, right? Because if you don't have a lot of versions of Murex to catch up to, if it's just a few versions and the version that moves to Murex to the cloud is the one that you're changing, you don't have to test all the business functionalities, and you need to account for that. But that's all there is to it. The more, I mean, there's probably been projects close and complexity to this in the history of every client.
I think, Alex, you mentioned a good point there in terms of the version that's cloud ready. I can't remember the exact version, but it's around 45-ish. That's, or .45 is cloud. They're pretty much, you can compliant all of them. But I think the next journey on the database side, looking at cost effectiveness, is some clients are looking at moving to a cloud-ready database server, so something like Postgres. So we're looking at migrating the workload from on-premise to cloud. Clients are asking me, look, where do I save my costs? Where are the cost benefits? Okay, I've got aging hardware on-premise, and I need to replace that, and there's an X amount of cost to replace the hardware. So if I can reinvest that investment rather than buying new on-premise hardware, or my cloud investment, that's a journey we can spend in the right direction. They're also asking me, what about other costs? Building the database. Now, migrating from Oracle Sybase to a cloud database is a humongous task. As you know, the database objects, data mart configuration, we're looking at a lot of detail into the feeders configuration. And, the teams on premise have built quite a complex solution. So that journey would be, but then we need to look at that with our clients and work out, is this the right model for you? Do you stay on Sybase, or do you stay on Oracle, or do you move to a cloud solution? That's something we're working closely with our clients on case by case, but then it is a cost effective. So, the saving on cloud ready database servers, that's really where the benefits are. There's one angle, we move a lot of configurations directly to cloud standardizations. Database configuration, the database layer, application connectivity. What do you think? It's not easy to move a data mart configuration from A to B. It's just
it is a
humongous task.
Yeah, it sounds very, very challenging. It might be a bit early for many clients to think about that, but that could be the next step. Yeah, but
sorry, the Murex are all certifying it now. So if the recent version, the release note did say that we are now supporting cloud-ready database servers. So this is an option now.
Well, probably why Murex has been getting so many awards recently.
We at GFT are trying to get those orders as well.
So guys, you mentioned at this angle, the budgets are quite high. But from another perspective as well, it's the extensive time, right? 10 months or so. So you mentioned the phases, how you doing it, Maybe you have some best practices or tips on how we can help our client in this journey.
So in terms of GFT, the strategy we go for most of our projects, we build an agile team. An agile team, we scope the project in terms of, okay, a typical upgrade to Murex could be 6 to 10 months, maybe longer, depending on how much we're upgrading and the new features or the business context. So let's just say an average context, I'd say about 6 to 10 months. That in itself is a challenge, looking at the detail, and as Ola mentioned about testing and reconciliation, looking at the configurations. But we're at GFT, what we've done is we've scoped projects in terms of we build a project office, we identify the risks to the project, we early on identify all the dependencies, all the cross streams cohesion, how they need to work together, build the framework and put everything in perspective. That perspective allows our projects to, and we use our repeatable use cases, which we've got our accelerators in our reconciliation. As an example, if we're upgrading from A to B, we would look at all the feeder configuration, a number of dynamic databases, and ensure that those are correct. That will be a good strategy. And we've got repeatable accelerators which we put in place that we will reuse. But the key thing is that identify the risks and the dependencies on a project early on. Those can be those can be tackled head on, and then everything else we take due process. But if we don't tackle the high demanding issues early on, the project can spiral to 12 to 15 months.
Because it's a very complex system, right? And everything must be tested to maintain at least 99%.
The impact is high.
Availability, and I know Ola, you have huge experience in that. Maybe you can share as well how you're doing it from your perspective, the testing, what are the challenges, main key points.
Yeah, so everything depends on what kind of change we deliver to the client. So I had to admit, I didn't work at transformation from prem to cloud, so I don't have a big experience in testing this area. Yeah, but generally, testing for each part looks similar. So first of all, we need to focus on what we are changing. Yeah, what is the risk? What been already said. Yeah, but anyway, good preparation, good analysis of it. What kind of configurations got each client? Because if we go to another customer, another client, everything is similar, but everything is different. Yeah, but for sure, cloud, it's future. Yeah, if we want to avoid disaster on production, testing is very important, and cloud environments give you huge opportunity to do it.
Sorry, regarding that as well, I have a small question to you, Aftab. Azure Murex pipeline allowing for seamless integration, yes, and is still a struggle there, right? So what GFT can offer here?
Well, it's always been a struggle to get building your test. So I've done many years work on risk management in Murex, and it's quite a niche area in Murex, and getting the workload built in your dev environment and getting that tested and then working at that deployed. There's new features, and Reformix does a great job. You can capture that process of exporting the configuration and loading into your deployment environment and go through the UAT and production cycles. But that seamless process, it's a challenge. And so Azure pipeline, called now the MX pipeline, this allows this whole process to be streamlined, allows these changes to be configured. It's moving in the direct direction. Now, ideally, as this matures, we would like a workload being built in development environments, that being taken to a UAT environment, a pre-production environment, and then deployed to production. That's what we're working on. So at GFT, we specialize in cloud. We work very closely with Microsoft Azure, how the pipelines. We've been understanding what the standards to employ, what are the direction, and the key thing is that it's a journey. And I think where this journey is going, infrastructure as code. If we can start building all our logic into Terraform and infrastructure as code, that's not ready yet, but that's where we're heading towards. As much automation in our configuration, much capturing it in our design, but we're not there yet. And I think if I sat down with Murex, they'll say, look, this is where our direction of travel is. And I think, and that's something we've got a lot of experience at GFT in terms of building automated code, automated deployment. And we're leveraging those practices in our Murex ways of working. So it's, the way I would say is that it's a new way of working now. And Alex, you've worked on many projects in the past, and it's always, typically, I've worked 20 years in Murex project, and I would say most of those configurations are pretty mature. The clients work on looking at problems, solving problems, and this is, if you speak to anyone at Murex projects, they are working pretty hard to come up with the best solution. Now, I'd say that's great. That's what we at Murex, all people do that, but the cloud makes it easier for us, because the difficulty of making these complex configurations is having a complex way of working. And then I said earlier on, maintaining that's the challenge. Now, it's de facto in the cloud and allows us to bring those practices and employ those in your day-to-day functioning. What do you think, Alex?
Of course. So,
in terms of that XML development, exporting the configuration, testing it, you must face a lot of challenges just getting those processes in, and maybe the workflow gets stuck, and then debugging. It's always a challenge.
Well, yeah, but that's life. I mean, at the end of the day, for client, what counts is the business that they do. They have certain things need to happen in order for a business to be concluded. And technically, that means also a certain number of events needs to happen. And you can spend your time manually adjusting elements of that, and you'll waste your time because you could spend that time automating these elements and never again look at it if it's well automated. So if you think like that, you will invest time, not waste time. You'll invest time into building elements that will make any work easier, regardless of what technology they're based on. Like in Murex workflows, it's easy because they're based on things that move around and something happens to them.
Workflows is easy.
Yeah, I mean, employing this...
For Alex, it's easy.
Yeah, I think actually for you it's easy. It's not easy because there are a lot of people who doesn't know workflows. They never know where it stacks and why it stacks. So only you can say it's easy for you.
I mean, technology is complex, right? But it's not difficult. It has low-level things that run, medium-level things that run, and high-level things that run. And we usually, when we change the code or the tasks, that's the high-level things that run. But there's a service underneath, and there's Unix underneath. So if you can deal with all of these, you can understand the relation and how they work together to give the effect that you're expecting. And it's complex because there's a lot of different languages and domain knowledge that you need in order to look at these things and understand them. But when you do, you can go one level higher and make them even simpler. So the client doesn't need to deal with all this technical mess. They just deal with the results. They see if the process is working the same way. Is it faster? Is it slower? Does it produce the same results? That's the only thing that matters to business. So that's what we do. I mean, I could talk for hours about technology and the technical sides of workflows, and you would probably stop listening after 3 minutes. But we can make this simple.
So thank you to all of you for this magnificent, great conversation. I think it was very insightful. We discussed a little bit the whole journey and the challenges that can be there with the migration to the cloud, right? And as we can see, and now we can say confidently that if you big player on the market, if you want to be tomorrow here, if you want to be at the top, you need to do that. You need to migrate to the cloud, right? It's secured and it's a technology. If you're not doing that, tomorrow you're not going to be on the market, right? So thank you so much for being here with us, and I hope to see you in our next videos.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.